Hello guys, welcome back to another lovely trading video. In this one we're going to be doing some stock analysis on LIDR. Why are we doing stock analysis on this? As we've already uploaded a video today, and that's just because this one also looked quite interesting. I was just flicking through the gappers and this one stood out. The main reason being that for about 3 months or so we literally just had a consolidation period of around 20 cents. It barely moved, so now we're getting this sudden kind of outburst of momentum and volatility. It just seems very strange. So kind of wanted to just go into this stock and see if there's any price targets that we could be looking at. So the first thing we'll look at is daily chart, as I always do with my analysis. First, you see, is there any gaps in this stock that need to be filled? And a few stood out right away. Obviously we got this one here that needs to be filled. We have one here, but that obviously was filled on this move. And that seems to be all we have on the gap side to be filled. Obviously we had one here, but again has been filled. So we do have a 1313 and a 1350 area to kind of fill, and we didn't fill that today. We only made it up to around $12.25. Now we'll go on to the standard deviations and see what happens. So you'll see the absolute top on the day is the third deviation on the daily. This isn't uncommon. You tend to see that's where moves stop. Sometimes you see it at the second deviation, sometimes even the first, but third is usually that key time that you do see a stock reverse. So it makes sense that it reversed today. So now the only thing we would be waiting for is if it continues this move today. So if we quickly change this over to a 5-minute chart, we will see that it has kind of calmed down. We can actually turn after hours on, see how it's moving after hours. Okay, it stayed flat after hours. So what you'll see, it came into the third deviation and pulled back from there on, and now we're just kind of consolidating. So this doesn't really give us any insight into whether we'll move lower tomorrow or higher, which is quite a good thing, because if you're looking to trade it tomorrow, we have hope to kind of continue upwards. And what that does mean is we could be looking to come in this 1242 area. Will be a struggle. Reason for that is we could get that same reaction that we got on today's 1222. So we could come in to test this tomorrow and just fail down quite strong. However, if we do push through, the main target we would be looking at is 1350. Reason for that is obviously, if we go on to the daily, as you can see here, that would be the gap fill, and stocks around 90% of the time fill gaps in their lifetime. So it doesn't mean that LIDR has to do it now, but it wouldn't be unlikely when it's got this strong momentum. And with gappers, sometimes you see them move the next day just because it's now on people's watch lists. So definitely a key area to be watching. If we come through and break yesterday or today's high, 1245, that would be a key area. Could see a pullback or a reversal at that point. But if we are able to break through that, we would be looking for the gap fill between 1313 to around 1350. So definitely just be looking for the gap fill on this. If it fills this gap, then I would be quite bearish on it, because it will most likely just try and fill that gap. Then it doesn't care what it does from then on. So that would be that key level that I personally would be looking for. Now, where do we kind of see it going? Because obviously it has closed not in the red. Obviously it's still gapped up 35%, but has pulled back from this third deviation. And if you go on to standard deviations on the longer term time frames, you can also see that it's now closed back within the orange on both the daily and the 4-hour. So what that does show us is that now it's come back to a realistic value. Anything between the first deviation is considered more of a fair value and realistic value. So when a stock's within here, it's not really trading an extreme. So right now LIDR, yes, it moved 30% in a day, or close to 30% up on the day. It went from the bottom of kind of a fair value to the top of fair value. So it's still within an area where it's not really extremely overbought or oversold. So it is could still provide trading opportunities if it continues or decides to kind of break back out of this so-called fair value and break up higher. So if it does break up higher, again, we'll probably get some resistance at these statistical deviations. So they are kind of key levels to be keeping an eye on, because we will probably get some hesitation at these levels tomorrow, or whenever we come and test these again. So we're keeping an eye out on those levels, because we will most likely get a pullback, or could see a reversal at this area. But if either pre-market or during trading tomorrow, or even next week, we can see LIDR start closing above this 19.95 or kind of like that $10 mark, we would most likely carry on pushing back up. And again, if we can close above that 11.20, then we would most likely come to break the 52-week high. Actually, I don't think that is a 52-week high, but at least this kind of recent high, and kind of push in to fill this gap. So that's the main thing I'd be looking at on this. Is wouldn't be actually personally shorting it right now. I'd just be looking for the gap to get filled. Once the gap is filled, then I would be quite short bias on, or bearish just on, that stock. So hope you enjoyed the breakdown on LIDR. If that helped you, definitely let me know. If there's anything you think I missed and want me to go over, either in the comments or in the next video, just let me know. So hope you enjoyed the video, and that's it. Peace.